Welcome to another episode of the Blackgate Podcast. We've got our good buds in Victory Heights. Why don't you guys introduce yourself? Tell us a little about what you guys are all about. And
I'm Carl. I sing for Victory Heights. I'm Sam. I play guitar and sing in Victory Heights.
I'm Dylan. I play bass.
Very nice. Yeah, why don't we start off with just kind of getting to know you guys a little bit better. Obviously, me and Tyler have been here, so
Goes both ways.
yeah, just kind of going down the line. Talk about, I guess, just where you guys all get your start in music and like kind of the origin story, the superhero story, per se.
Well, Carl and I started this band years ago in probably 2010, I would say. And we're brothers. We've been doing this together forever. And we started long ago just as a crappy basement band in our parents' house. And just played over the years and switched a couple members out over the course of some time. And it just kind of kept things going uphill. And that's where we started out. We both have some pretty different tastes in music, pretty broad spectrum. So it's cool to be able to collab and put it all together. So
Yeah, Sam and I started playing music super young. I started playing drums. He started playing originally bass, and then moved to guitar a little later. And so over time, we kind of just got better and better. And at first we sucked, and now we just suck a little bit more and less.
I started playing guitar before bass, and then was in a few bands around the Denver area before I joined up with these guys.
Cool. Yeah, good deal. Let's go even into what made you get into this kind of niche genre that we all kind of have made friends with each other in, which would be kind of like the hardcore metal scene. Like, what kind of got you guys like driving in that direction as opposed to being like a pop band or something else like that? Like, where did that influence come from for all you guys?
Growing up, I was into like a lot of metal and stuff, like, you know, Slayer and...
Just on your own accord, or did you have like...
yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to like stuff that my dad, my dad liked. He's a big music guy, and through that I kind of, you know, explored other music and got into like more metal stuff in middle school and stuff, and then from there I kind of moved into stuff like Under Oath and bands like that, and in really early high school, and that kind of clicked with me, and so I kind of passed it along to him. And
yeah, we our dad wasn't big into the heavy music, but
As
he's a
most
big
dads.
rock and roll fan and
Yeah.
big fan of music in general. So we were brought up. He was a drummer back in the day. I taught Carl how to play drums, and then, you know, so he got us into music in general, and then of course a little bit of teen angst and rebellion brought towards the heavier side of music. Like Carl said, Slayer, Megadeth, things
Fuck
like
you,
that
Dad.
we thought was super edgy back in the day. And,
Shit, I'll get down with some
and then as it progressed and as Carl got angstier, he got into heavier and heavier stuff, and then eventually it kind of peaked off at kind of that Under Oath, the post-hardcore
Middle
feeling,
ground-ish,
Devil Wears
yeah.
Prada, stuff like that, and that's just kind of where we started playing shows and playing music more seriously than
That's
we had in
like
the
the
past.
birth of Victory Heights, essentially.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, how about you, man?
Oh man, it's a tough one. I don't know. Mostly just from friends to. I really don't know how I got into this type of music.
Just kind of fell in your lap.
Yeah. You know, when you find something you like it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that kind of reminds me of the time when I heard like, I think I owe a lot to like this guy, but it was also family members as well. Was like, I heard like my first breakdown, which was like a Kill Switch Engage, or no, it was Job for a Cowboy. Actually, that was like that was like real metal stuff, and I remember getting chills from like a breakdown. I was like, this is fucking sick. And then I was done from there. Like I hadn't felt that way about a song before, like, because I kind of just grew up on like pop or whatever my mom was listening to on the radio, and then I heard a breakdown, and I was like, I got chills. I was like, I've never felt that way about music before, so I was like, it was over. And then I had fucking long black hair after that.
Right after.
Yeah, right after. Just like it came down.
Yeah, we'll pull up some photos in
Yeah.
here. Fuck. Actually, my favorite way I got into it, so I bought a Walkman on fucking eBay, what my dad did for me. And this dude left his, like, all his songs on it. And it was Slipknot, Linkin Park, like
Nice.
POD.
There you go.
And I was like, dude, there's like all these albums, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson. And so like I never heard this shit before, and I played it, and I was like, I don't know, I was like 10 maybe.
And you're like,
Dope as shit. And I was like, Slipknot was so
it's a
tight.
brave new world.
Yeah.
What's that garbage you're listening to? Nothing. Just the CD that came with it, Mom. The tutorial.
It was so funny. I wonder what would happen if I didn't have that. You know, like what if I like became
Yeah.
like Britney Spears or something?
Yeah.
Get with Steve Miller Band.
I'm just really
We wouldn't be here
chilling,
today. We'd be talking about some weird shit.
Yeah, we'd be like, yeah, just like vibing with my guitar. Like,
I just like playing riffs. Nothing too crazy.
Riffing.
Just riffing.
Gigging. Just
Yeah.
gigging around town.
yo, the Fully Torque thing happened 3 years ago, like yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was.
insane.
I
Yeah.
just saw, Corey posted
Yeah.
about that. That was
Just
great.
Oh yeah, they're man.
To give a little context about how all we know each other, Tyler and I used to be in a band. Obviously, you guys are still in the same band. That was our first tour as Lion I Am back in the day, and where we met these gentlemen on the month-long run where we just got kind of thrown to the wolves and did our thing for a month,
So
and it was
it was
fucking
intense.
awesome. It was the best. It was like
Yeah,
the
it
best
was
thing we could
like
have ever done.
pretty poorly booked tour on the book,
But it
and
was-
like a lot of just not good stuff. But
Lot
it
of
was like the most
disasters.
fun time,
Lots
no
of
matter
memories.
either way. Oh yeah,
For sure.
like every single band was just having like one bad thing after another as far as shows dropping, vans not working,
Right.
this and that. But
We
it
took
was fun, yeah.
Got through and made some good friends out of it.
That
So
was tight. Yeah, the Idaho story is like the one I told about.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
we've actually told that on the podcast.
I
We probably-
still see those guys.
Yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
they're great people. But I
There's still
see.
diehards of going to the local venues in Idaho.
The Elks Lodge.
That place isn't around anymore. but-
Oh fuck.
At least as far as I know, but
Oh, that was a weird spot, man. I remember we were going down like downtown of their area, and it was like abandoned.
Yeah, I didn't get a
99-cent
good.
store.
I didn't get a good vibe from that spot. At
what's
all.
funny is like
Yeah.
I always pictured Idaho like based off that city, which like it's just kind of a little town.
Pocatello.
But it was like the rest of Idaho is super cool.
Nice, yeah.
Dude, I remember we played like that skate shop or whatever. Did you guys play that with us? Or was that our second
That was the
one?
next one.
Where we played a skate shop there. It was pretty sick, but it was like they didn't know what. Like I remember there was like a church across the street that had no idea what the fuck was going on.
And they're just
A
like-
kid came down and started talking to me about things. I thought he was like trying to go to the show or something. He just didn't get it. He's like, "What do you mean? You play music at a skate shop?"
that's what we do. Man.
Well, that's like skateboards and stuff.
Yeah.
That don't make no damn sense.
Shaking his head, walking away. Yeah, just yeah. I
I
don't
think
know.
you
man.
Californians can't figure anything out.
Bring us up to date a little bit on Victory Heights. Like, what are you guys up to now? And the
Okay.
fucking whole, like, everything's been, since we've toured together, like, shit's really changed. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys have done a couple different things in between then, so where are you guys at as a band right now?
We recorded a record a while back, and that's kind of been sitting in purgatory where we kind of figured some politics out and got
Okay.
everything ironed out. And so I think we're going to release that by the end of this year. We just released a single for a song called Giving Up, and that was a music video and single, and it was fun to shoot and everything. But yeah, we're just going to be releasing that record by the end of this year and
Very
getting
nice.
back out on tour and just kind of picking things up again.
Good deal.
Yeah, I saw that video. Came out awesome.
Did you like it?
With the rose petals. and
Good.
stuff.
Yeah,
They're sick.
thousands of them.
Yo, Alex is in this shit, right?
What?
Alex Ablett.
Yeah, I still talk. Yeah, I talk to him pretty often. On
Nice,
Facebook,
yeah.
actually.
Alex
the
Ablett.
I always forget.
No, I'm sorry, Alex Alquist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
sorry,
Alex
Al,
Alquist
if you're
was
watching this. Forgot the.
By the way, yeah, you
last
guys
name.
can share this up on your guys' page.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to go on.
I'm gonna do that now.
Get a while and now they can ask questions and shit.
Yeah, that's generally something we try to cut to at the end. If anyone has like a Q&A, we can kind of jam that way. Let's see. But yeah, it's bringing you guys out this way. It's obviously just for pleasure, which is always nice to kind of
Mm-hmm.
make your way out and.
I like that. Ever since we toured, we like stayed bros and we just do like
Oh,
shit
a
together.
couple times a year.
I think-
go out and
literally, yeah.
vacation and
That's the beauty
Vegas
of it, man.
trips and
Yeah, I can't wait for
get too
a couple
drunk
days.
to fuck and just run around doing crazy stuff.
To
Drinking
Ghosts.
Four Locos.
Yeah, literally.
Sour apple
We're
today.
gonna have to
Speaking
plug this
of-
today. Drink a Four Loko.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
sponsor us, I've emailed you like 4 times.
Yeah, we've actually thrown a couple.
Literally.
It's time to finally pull the trigger for
Yeah,
it.
come on, Four Loko. We've had your back for a long time.
Sure.
We stuck with you after you guys
Online.
changed your recipe.
Do you guys have any tour plans for the rest of the year, or you just kind of?
Not yet. We just like a couple things in Denver, and then we're hopefully gonna pick up November, December, some stuff just when we release our record and everything. So, as of right now, not anything, but
I suppose that is an odd time to start touring right in the dead of
it
winter.
is. Yeah,
You don't
it's
want to.
kind of bad timing, but
But it'll be cool to, obviously you guys are going to do the release towards the end of the year and then kind of push that hard like all next year with touring and whatnot.
exactly, yeah.
You guys going back to Europe anytime soon?
It's being talked
I'd
about.
love to.
It's being talked
Yeah,
about.
talk
We'd
on that.
like to.
Yeah, you
That's-
guys did that Europe thing like what, a year ago? Was it a year?
2015.
Oh, okay. My days are.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
That's
but,
something that a lot of bands like don't generally make it to as a. I mean, everyone. That's obviously like a big aspiration for like. I mean, any band starting out like fuck,
Going
we could play
overseas is
overseas,
awesome.
anything like.
Different scene entirely.
Oh,
yeah.
completely.
Touring the country of our own is like a feat in itself, but to be able
Yeah.
to say that you've gone and done it on like you had to take a plane, like there's no other fucking way.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk about that whole experience. I think that's kind of something interesting to bring to the table
Yeah,
because
that's dope.
that's something a lot of people don't quite make it to. So I
Mhm.
think run us through that.
Summer of 2015, we got an awesome opportunity to meet up and work with a band from the UK, Scream Blue Murder, who is currently on Franz's record label.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So they're doing pretty well right now, but we got in touch with them and essentially exchanged a tour. They came out to the U.S., did a U.S. tour with us, and then we went straight out there right afterwards
Very
and
cool.
and did UK, so England, Scotland, Wales, and it was an unbelievable experience. It was something that, like you said, every band, you know, in our position, especially as an independent band, unsigned, unmanaged at the time, it was something that bands don't really often get an opportunity to do
For
that.
sure.
And so we jumped on the opportunity and we made it happen and put some things together, and I think it was well received either way. We had
Yeah.
just a blast and a half and made really good friends,
Right.
a similar situation with you guys,
Yeah.
with those guys out in Scream Blue Murder. So it was really cool.
Got to see England in kind of an interesting way. Like, I've been there a couple times on my own, and it was never like the same as getting to see it through touring and getting
Yeah.
to go to some of the kind of smaller cities and meet more people. It was a really cool experience.
Get to dive into the culture and
Oh,
how
yeah.
the culture works,
Mhm.
even just within the music.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
badass.
And it's a different scene. Venues work differently. People operate differently. It's very
Write music
very
differently.
cool
It's all
experience,
different. It's just a other side of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
if you get to go there, it's like I think kids will probably see that as like, oh shit, that's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Actually
cool
go
because
out.
we had people like, "Oh my gosh, you're from America," and it's like, yeah, like
Yeah, it's
you're
not.
not as bad as we thought you would be. You're not great, but
You're not completely in shape, but you're looking alright.
yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's and you brought up a point there too of like, I think the big beauty of touring is like that we've been able to stay such good friends, and now you guys have friends overseas that you could be like, hey guys, like we're here, like
Yeah.
let's kick it, and that's I
Honestly,
think
one of the best parts of touring for me, and I know Carl feels a similar way, is networking. It's just
Networking.
becoming friends with as many people as you possibly can, and
super important. Yeah.
yeah, and it's something that like, you know, we go out of our way to talk to people and to meet people and just make friends, even if
Yeah.
it's just to, you know, just for the sake of meeting that person and adding one more person to the list of people that you know or
Yeah.
whatever. It's something that I think is important, especially to myself.
Mm.
You know, meeting people and expanding so that whenever I want to go to San Diego, I can call up my boys and say, hey, we're coming out, or
Yeah, we got
whenever we want to go to England or wherever. So
Yeah, that's almost the whole idea of the podcast too. Is in general is kind of just bringing together
Yeah.
ideas of different people that. When you meet people like that out on the road and or even just doing things like this, like you get to hear those different perspectives, and I think it'll help you grow as a person and especially as a band on a band level
Yeah.
because you guys kind of all you get to like see the different cultures, like whether it even just be between our country, like even here in LA is a completely different
Oh,
thing.
totally.
So
well, yeah, and
those are some really cool points of that I think like travel in general.
Yeah, it's been cool. I mean, getting to see the whole U.S. too. Without,
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot of places I would have never, ever gone. Probably without a reason like tour to go. And so I got to see a bunch of cool stuff, cool stuff that I would have never seen otherwise, and meet a lot of cool people that I would have never ran across otherwise. And so yeah, it's just been a great thing for keeping life interesting.
What are your next steps for like the year coming up? Like, are you just gonna keep touring? You want to
Next plans, is just release that record.
First order of business.
Yeah, it's ready to go, and we're just wanting to kind of get it released, and it's a really solid record.
Who'd you guys go with? I'm just curious. Personal question.
What's the what was the process on that?
Yeah, where'd you who'd you record with?
So we recorded up in Detroit, Michigan, at a place called 37 Studios, which is a very cool room. Worked with a couple different producers on it up there, and a lot of it we kind of self-produced and self-wrote and everything. So it was a lot of hard work on everyone in the band's part, and then we went up and spent a couple weeks up there in freezing Detroit in February. And
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, seriously, it was a very cool studio though, like really cool live room and everything, and that took. So we ended up having issues with engineers not losing things, and we had to end up going. We had like a tour that was passing through somewhere nearby, and we ended up having to take like 3 or 4 days off a tour in order to go finish up some vocals that got lost and stuff. And so we came in from Canada from the tour and stayed in Detroit instead of going to Chicago and just recorded.
That's cool though. I mean, I guess it's a good reason. I mean, it sucks that you're missing those.
Yeah, it sucked, but
like he said, we had there was several people involved with it. It was just something that we kind of had one initial plan, and it kind of ended up getting reworked to where we ended up having several different people's hands on it over the course of the couple months the year that we were working on it for. So
now, were you a part of this process as well? You weren't quite involved yet. Okay. How long ago did you come to join with these guys?
A year and a half.
just over a year.
Okay. Yeah.
He came out. His second show with us was actually here in San
Very
Diego.
nice.
We played Warped Tour.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, that was like a fucking year.
Yeah, that was a year ago.
time flies.
So it's pretty awesome.
We got a greetings from Cancun, which is cool for Carl. Greetings from Cancun from Andre.
Oh, nice. Hey, Andre. How's it going, man?
Yeah, that's cool. Nice little shout out.
Yeah, that's so. Warped Tour. How'd you guys get that again? You just ended up
It was just kind of random. It just kind of came up for us. They just offered us that. We're like, okay. So we went and did that, and it was
really
cool.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun seeing all you guys, and it was just like,
rowdy.
yeah, it was cool. It was a very cool experience.
That's definitely like a childhood bucket list
It's-
dream thing to
Dude,
do.
yeah,
Check it
doing the
out.
whole tour, like.
Yeah, when you're definitely just you're driving down. It's not like your hometown. shit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some friends, Fire from the Gods, that we've been playing with for a long time, and they just got to do a Warped Tour, and I was just so jealous. That's
Yeah.
life. I mean, the whole tour, it's so cool.
That's a milestone for sure. I think that's when you're growing up and going to Warped Tour, you're like, shit, man, I play
It's like
music,
the,
this is
the
it.
breaking point.
Yeah, you
If
think
you
about it
can
your whole
play
life.
Warped Tour,
I love that.
you've made it.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I love that, man.
we got asked by Kyle Gisbert, Beastie Boys or Kid Rock?
Beastie Boys.
Beastie
Oh,
Boys
nice.
would be my answer as well. You
Good
got
question,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Thanks,
Depends
Kyle.
on my mood, man. What about Kid Rock when you're just fucking riding
too
in the
much.
back of your pickup? And you're just like,
I don't have a pickup, but
Yeah, like a fucking Camino. It's all
Yeah.
cut out. You gotta throw in the PBRs. In the
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kid Rock's pretty cool.
Sorry, kid.
but-
Yeah,
No offense, dog.
Hey, that's a little too hard to compare the.
Beastie Boys.
I get
are
you just
wild
gotta-
now.
Oh, yeah.
They stay wild.
Yeah, we've been friends for too long. I'm gonna cut this we're not friends after this.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Alright, it's
Fair
over.
enough.
I'm gonna
It's gonna be this Four Loco.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's what's gonna do.
It's ruining the
And
friendship
then
right there.
I still go to Vegas. We hate each other. But then we reconcile over a logo.
I don't want to have breakfast with you guys, so I'm gonna take it to Gosa.
Me mugging. Hey.
Tagosa. Wait, that needs to be an urban dictionary. Have you put an urban
I
dictionary?
haven't put it in yet, but
Okay,
maybe we'll
we're
do
good.
that tonight.
Well, this
after
is a
Four
Black
Loko.
Ant exclusive. Tagosa, I think you might be able to explain.
Oh yeah, explain.
best.
This is the
What
best.
is a Tagosa? Would you say?
Well, last year we went to Vegas on a little vacation. We're hanging out, and woke up in the morning, didn't put my shoes on, walked down to the buffet, the restaurant buffet at the hotel that we were at, and went in, and part of the thing was mimosas was part of the buffet, so I was just loading up on those, and then at the end I was just like, well, I want one more, and I walked up and I just asked for a to-go sign, and the guy knew exactly what I was talking about, and just handed me
in a to-go cup.
Yeah, in a to-go cup, like little plastic glass.
Oh, they hated us. We were like drying them out.
It almost makes me sad because it makes me think that somebody said that before.
Oh, yeah, I know. I felt
But-
less original after that, but still.
But it felt good.
Don't let them have that. Here we go.
It was us.
Only us. We're the only ones.
Just to kind of switch gears a little bit with everything that's kind of changed over the past few years with kind of social media and how much that's involved with music these days. It's something I kind of like to talk about with different people that I bring on the podcast. Is how do you guys go about that with your band? I guess mostly within the band. I guess personally as well. Where do you guys stand with like kind of social media involved with music these days? Like, how do you guys approach it?
It's difficult because it changes so quickly
Of course.
that it's like, and like we kind of went on like a not a hiatus, but we kind of were inactive for a while trying to get things figured out before we're gonna get things going again. And yeah, it's a lot's changed since then. And so we had a really good social media engagement, and then getting back into doing stuff. It's kind of like it's different now. So it's.
Yeah, like you're saying, it changes literally
Every
month
week.
to month, dude.
Yeah,
I
it's
swear.
like it's crazy. So it's it's helpful. Obviously, it's definitely like it makes it easier to get to a wider audience, but it's also I kind of miss the days of like actually having like going out and handing stuff out at shows and stuff, because it's just like
Sadly, I think that's dead. Well, I wouldn't say it's dead, but it's not as important.
Yeah.
Which sucks because that familiar, like
Yeah.
you're familiar with the person, you're cool with the band, you're like, oh hell yeah, dude, I got their stickers, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like you could eat like you're like, oh, send you an email and here's some millions of tickets and shit.
Just to chime in on that angle, though, I think that since we've kind of all switched over to this very digital style of like communicating with audiences, I think that stuff can be still like super effective. Whereas like
stands out.
if you were to go to like your local show or like the touring acts, which I think is really cool, if you were to like flyer for your show, just because of that personable aspect,
Yeah.
and everyone's so used to like, hey, come to my show on an Instagram DM,
Yeah.
that's so I think these days if people were to take that extra step to be like, hey, like let's
Go out and make a face-to-face interaction.
yeah, I think that speaks to a lot these days if people are actually willing to put that effort, because like obviously social media at our fingertips has made it like so much easier
Yeah.
for us to just be like make a fan, but I think you bring it to a new level now when you can actually like interact like
Yeah.
in the old ways, so it's
I think that it goes across the board for not just music. Like I think social
Yeah.
media has really damaged a lot of things, and that people just like it's so easy to just like post and like I don't know. It's social media. I've been a little wary of it lately because it's
Right.
just like it does that with everything. It just makes everything kind of shallow and
Yeah, you have to post all the time.
yeah.
Because like I even noticing like we're taking over a couple Instagrams for other bands and people,
Uh
and it's like when we post. If I don't post on a band page that I'm managing,
Yeah.
and then like for like 3 days and I post it, I won't see it on my personal feed
Yep.
until I keep scrolling or wait.
Yeah, it's super that like
And
all the
get through
algorithms
likes.
they've changed and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
it's so confusing.
Gotta hashtag the fuck out of it, or like make
Yeah.
it relative, or like have people tagged in it.
Yep.
It's definitely had to keep people on their toes, I think, but in that same regard we either accept it that it is going to be
Yeah,
the way it
that's
is, or
it.
Yeah,
you're
it's-
left in the dust,
Yeah, or it's over. Yeah.
yeah.
So evolve with the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely important, and it sucks that it's so important. But if you get good at it, though,
Yeah, and there's probably bands from the '90s who would have killed to have some of the networking
Exactly,
and social
sure,
media
it's-
opportunities that we have. It's made it so any band has a chance. Like pretty much
their
any,
own press.
yeah, any band
Yeah.
has their own press team, and it's them.
Yeah. The crazy thing about it that like I'd like to think about a lot is like it's not only you're competing with like other bands in your same genre, literally competing for the attention of everybody else.
Everything.
Like,
yeah.
there could be a dude like on the feed that's just like a really popular guy or something like that, and you
Just 2,000 posts about it.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
that too. Yeah,
Scroll.
you might have released a song when it was popping and no one gave a fuck. So it's
Yeah.
like
You gotta figure out which days. There was actually so a lot of releases are coming out the 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah.
Like it's fuckload, like a ton of albums.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Counterparts, I can't wait. But so like doing that because I'm doing I was gearing up a release for a band, but we're taking care of it now. And because of that, I was like, well, let's not be smart because then it's gonna get like in the wave thing. So
Yeah.
at least you get kind of a heads up.
Sure. Yeah.
So you're like,
True.
okay, that's like not a good time.
Yeah.
Maybe a week after,
Mhm.
or 3 days within. 'Cause
Yeah.
then, like they're still hungry for new music, and you're like, oh, here's a song.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
fun tip.
It's interesting that it's like just competes for attention on everything,
Yeah.
politics, movies,
Oh,
and it's
for
just
sure.
like you have to somehow dive
you gotta
into
cut
all
through
that.
the noise. Yeah, I think that's where, to touch on earlier, like comes into play. I think if you can like reach out and be that personal band on social media, if you're able to like reach your fans in a different way than everyone else is doing it, then
Yeah.
I think that's where you can win. So
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it's just about finding your angles, and because if everyone's doing the same shit, then if you can do it a little bit different, then
because you'll see like this band's like tag someone that likes metalcore, and it's like 30-second clip, and it's really like garbage.
Yeah.
And like so that was cool for like maybe a year.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't work anymore.
No.
So you gotta be creative and be
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna do something different.
We just discovered it with like releasing that music video. It's like
right. I was gonna say I saw some ads of your guys.
you
and
post a
whatnot.
YouTube video link and it just shows it to like it's like
Yeah.
it showed it to 10 of your it showed it like to 200 of your
Right,
42,000 followers, and it's like what?
Yeah.
And so it's impossible to like draw traffic over. You've got to use like the Facebook Live video, or not Facebook Live, but the embedded Facebook video, and that works.
Right.
Like that shows it to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just like
People.
They're taking over.
it doesn't work the same. And so like I came into that, and I'm like, oh, this is different.
Very interesting, yeah, and that it's weird to think about because that could change tomorrow, where it's like, oh, well, now Facebook video isn't important anymore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
their
And we've all
algorithm.
switched.
Whatever Facebook decides is important is whatever.
Oh,
I mean, I think it's okay if
Live
you keep
videos
up
are
on
cool though.
it.
Yeah. I do. I'm anticipating a new platform pretty soon. I see a lot of people mad, right? So you saw that Infinite Annihilator thing where like they got taken off
Mhm.
Spotify.
Yep.
People were pissed. They're back on Spotify now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was like a shit show for like a couple days. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
well,
saw
let's
that.
take
Yeah.
them down. So I think enough of that's happening with like YouTube changing their policies too, to only like certain videos are getting revenue. From,
Yep.
like even big YouTubers are like,
Yeah.
I can't have advertisements on this video because someone thought it was offensive. I'm like,
Right.
where, how,
He said
why?
dick or something.
Yeah, so like I think what's gonna happen is like enough of that is
Over censorship
dude, it's
and.
gonna snowball into something to we're gonna have a new platform.
that's kind of
I'm
how it's
excited.
always gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to be honest, I've been anticipating that would happen for a long time. I'm surprised it hasn't.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
announced MySpace was coming back.
We hopped on that train
and I was
quickly.
like, huh, okay, and I like, pff, and then you just
Dude,
got on there. I was like, nobody
the
gives a
nostalgia
shit about
factor
this.
is a big fucking player. Like that would win all of us over if somebody came back
If it was
and
good.
did MySpace
Oh,
right
like-
tomorrow.
Right.
You would catch my ass on there.
Oh,
Like,
we tried.
you know, like yeah. But if somebody came and did it right, like nostalgia is a big fucking thing. Like someone could sell me on AIM Messenger.
Oh yeah.
If they did it right,
for
like
an app,
you
dude,
know?
I'd be yeah, fuck yeah.
I think that's a big player. And like that's
So funny.
Bring back
Let's do
sidekicks,
it.
bro.
Dude,
I have
that's
my
true.
Chocolate was
So-
the jam.
Oh,
Fumble!
She's my phone.
the live viewers are like, what the fuck?
It's all
It's
crazy.
an earthquake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
California.
Yeah, we're in Texas.
A couple homies did see that happen, so we're good. We're back.
We're fine, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's bring back the sidekick.
You only get one person now, right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was getting all three.
Yeah. Oh, go for it. Yeah. I just have to turn it.
With the 4 logo, I'm pretty happy about that.
Product placement.
Yeah, we wish.
If you want to crack it, dude, I'm seeing an eyeball on it. You want to take a sip, bro?
Sour
I'm trying to
apple,
get you to
man.
drink
This can honestly be like a community. We can make it. Let's make a
Okay.
community.
I ain't scared.
None of you guys have
You
that,
start.
whatever's going around with the
have
homie, the
hepatitis
hepatitis
outbreak.
and the homeless people in
No, I
San
think it's
Diego.
just yeah. I don't know.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I only got
I
like
do
a
work
little.
downtown,
I got a
so-
smidge of it. It actually smells pretty dope. It smells like those caramel apple lollipops.
How green is it? It's
pretty
what's-
green.
Give me the color details.
Yeah, it's
Specs.
Let's force them into your PBR.
Ooh, that's actually not bad.
That's actually
I don't hate that.
Yes, you.
I had a frost blue one.
Frost
I couldn't
blue.
finish it. It got me pretty lit. My mouth was blue. It was at the McGregor fight. So I was already drinking beforehand. And then like we went home and I lost like $40 or $60, so I was pissed. So we got Locos because it's cheap. I remember drinking like a quarter of it. We sat in a jacuzzi.
Actually, I'm pouring it in there.
Oh,
That's so
that looks
weird.
like radioactive, bro.
I like that you did that.
My beer's empty.
Oh, really?
I should have just played it off.
Yeah.
God, I just really like
Brand new.
Locos, dude.
I'm crazy.
I just mix it up.
Yeah, whoever invented green apple needs to check themselves because that is the worst flavor.
It's pretty good, man. I don't know about
Honestly,
you
I
guys.
don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I drink that all day.
Tastes
Gold
like
though.
eating a sour.
So something that me and Tyler have kind of came across here, as far as our like San Diego local scene, has been on a bit of a, what would you say?
Decline.
Yeah,
it's
a
not
bit of a
doing so hot.
decline. So I'm curious to know, you guys coming from Denver, right? The Denver area. Yeah. What's kind of the state of the local scene out there, and bands coming up, particularly like what's going on with new bands?
I would say it's kind of the same. Not that there aren't good bands coming up. There are good bands coming up. Local scene, I mean, and maybe just because I haven't been quite as involved with it as I have been in the past, 6 years. But I haven't seen that much going on. There are some really good bands coming up here and there, but it's just not been nearly as
Seems like the local scene doesn't have the attention that it used to.
Yeah,
also.
it's just,
Not
or the
even-
energy. Like,
Not even quality of bands, because there's plenty of great bands coming out all the time.
But maybe,
all over Denver, but it's just people are seemingly less interested for whatever reason.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
And
super
maybe it
great.
is because of the social media thing we were talking about earlier, or
That
maybe
too,
it's
yeah.
for X other reason. But
Because I feel like bands don't have to push as hard. They can just throw. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm guilty as fuck on this one because like I know I'd rather throw a Facebook video out with ads on it than go play a show for 5 kids. So,
yeah, for sure.
I know I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna get like 1,000 or 2,000 reach on this video. Dude, that's a big fucking show if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's like a sold out, like pretty big stage show.
Yeah, exactly.
for sure.
Opposed to like I'm gonna go play my local venue and maybe get 5 to 20 kids.
Yeah.
100 if you're,
It's
lucky.
Yeah.
it's like it's been different in Denver. It's like it's still not horrible, and it has moments, but I have definitely noticed that it's, at least as far as I can see, it just seems a little less energy in it as far as people getting stoked on bands. And
I think it's shifted genre
bands
wise too.
popping
Denver
up.
is
Yeah,
huge
really
on like the beat down hardcore
Oh, really?
stuff
Yeah,
right
that's been
now.
that was here like a long time
That's
ago.
Yeah, it's pretty big around Denver right now, which we obviously don't fit really
It's yeah.
into that category.
It's
too
kind
well,
of just
but
like really that heavy, just kind of like fuck up the person next to you style.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
I feel like that fucks it up for kids though. Like, let's say like you're 15 or 14, you want to go out to a show, and you don't know what you're getting into, and next thing you know, you're fucking knocked out. You're like, what the?
half your face
opening
is
a
caked
can of
in.
worms. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had a friend who was at a show in Denver who you might have even heard about, who
This, yeah.
Janelle,
got
the
her
rainbow
teeth
haired
kicked
girl.
in, and I mean, I don't have a ton to say about that. I just think that at least try to be respectful of people around you. I mean, like, I understand hardcore dancing, do your thing.
Yeah.
But there's an extent.
Totally, yeah.
of it
I mean,
being
once
cool.
people are getting their
Difference
teeth
between
knocked out and
violence and
stuff,
fun.
that's kind of like
no one's gonna go to shows anymore.
yeah, exactly.
They're gonna be like, I can go to this EDM show. And not
Where
get fucked
people are
with.
gonna be like petting me,
Yeah.
and hugging me instead of
And
punching
like, that's
me.
what's fucked up the scene though, because then like if kids feel like they're gonna get hurt, they're not gonna fucking go like, oh, it's a hardcore show.
or bullied at all.
It's also
Totally.
gotten really clicky too, where it's like,
Totally fucking understand a hardcore show, because you can stand outside and like you can
Yeah.
in the ring of it, but like, man, come on,
yeah,
no one's gonna go. It's all fucked up.
Yeah, I think that's a problem too with like, if that kind of like venue gets that name attached to it, where it's like if I were to go to our local venue, which is Soma, and there was like a beat down band, and a lot of people got fucked up, but there was another show like the next week of a band that I wanted to see that was like maybe not as heavy, but they were like rocky. I'd be like, well, fuck, I don't want to go because
get my ass.
I saw someone get their ass kicked there last week. It just kind of like that kind of.
slowly like puts
It just
on
pushes
over
people
and
away. Like I
over
got
and
better
over.
shit to do than
Yeah,
go to a show
go
and
get fucking
not
pound
only
bash.
see people get hurt, but like put myself. So but I think that's always been a problem. I mean,
Totally,
I don't
sure.
think that's anything new,
For
but
sure.
I think
steering
It's always
away
risky
from it
for
is
the
a good
venue though too,
show.
because
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, venues can get sued for that stuff, and it's
Right.
like I totally think have fun, dance, do your thing,
Yeah.
respectfully. Like
Yeah.
there is a line,
And there is
that
the
at
at
some
your
point-
own risk
Totally.
line where it says, obviously if you are throwing down in the pit and somebody else is throwing down the pit, you'll probably get hit and knocked
Yeah.
over. But there's
I've
it's
seen
just
people get
a
hit a million
difference.
times. And there's a difference.
a difference
getting
between
a
assaulting
stray
someone
arm and like.
I super agree.
and getting hit in the face. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt.
Yeah, I've gotten hit during hardcore dancing, and it felt like it was like all right. Like it's
Yeah.
not like a
No,
violent.
if
It
you
doesn't.
take
It's not a
hit,
violent
it's not
thing
they're
unless
aiming
it's
for you.
yeah. Unless it's meant to be. Like I was like, this is just like we're play fighting with my
Yeah.
little brother or
Almost get your
something.
fucking
Yeah.
teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
Then it's like, yeah, okay, no, that's not chill.
Okay.
Yes, so I feel like because what inspired me to be in a band and play shows, because I got into music and I was like, this is badass. I remember my parents would let me go to shows for like a long time. I was like fighting until I was like 10 to 13. I was like, come on, let me fucking go. We started going to Jungle Turtle.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 12. I was like almost 13. Yeah. And like seeing dudes fucking rip on guitar, I was like, that's badass, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And like you see the crowd and people are stoked, and then I mean there's hardcore dancing there.
Yeah.
So like you're seeing like the whole community, and you're like, this is what I'm into. This is badass.
Mhm.
So you keep going, day after day. You're like fucking showing up, listening to music, buying merch, and then eventually you get to the point.
Everyone, through peers.
And then you want to be a part of the band in the scene, so you start a band, and then you grow and you grow. Like maybe your first band sucks, and then you keep building.
Your first band definitely.
Just how it goes.
Yeah, most of the time that's just.
But I love those days. Those are fucking.
Oh yeah.
That's how you learn. But like you don't. I think that's what we're talking about. It's like you don't see a lot of that now because there's not a lot of. Going to a local show, and you're seeing these local bands, and you're like, no one's fucking blowing my mind. I don't want to play guitar. I'm gonna go EDM it up. So that shit looks like a party.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hang out
Yeah.
there opposed to the communities in there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's my beef.
That was kind of the same with me as far as get growing up. Like I think I went to like a couple shows and was like, oh, this is sick. Like people are like, they're getting super fun. Like young people my age, and it was like I went there and I was like, this is sick, and I just fit in, and so it was like for once, like you're just like I feel like at home here. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know where it's.
But yeah, that's I think a part of the issue with the clickiness of the scene, that where it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like you're either cool or you're not. It's almost like sometimes I see some local scenes in Denver, particularly. I'm like, damn, like
Yeah.
it's not about music. It's about whoever's coolest and then the coolest group.
Yeah, that's kind of a big thing that me and Tyler talked about, like when we were starting this whole Black 8 thing too, was like we really want to bring back that sense of unity of having a scene, because what really inspired like me and Tyler to do this in the first place was like when we came up in the music scene, we had that camaraderie between bands, and it was like there was friendly rivalries between bands that kind of just pushed everyone to be better, which was excellent. Like I couldn't have asked for anything better, a better scene to come up in, and everybody in that same regard had a place to practice. There was like a studio within our community where everybody came, everybody not only partied and practiced, and it was kind of just like everybody had a place to go.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a big thing with why we wanted to start this in the first place. So I think that's kind of something that everyone kind of needs to go back to their roots with, like finding like what was the reason we got into this in the first place.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's what really keeps it alive. Just kind of finding, like going back to like why did we do this in the first place? Not like we didn't go into this for fashion contests or who looks
Certainly
the
not
coolest.
money.
It's like, definitely not money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like something I like to keep in mind, and that gives me hope. It's just like there is still that chance out there, because like there's nothing better than like bands coming together and like, well, let's build each other up.
Andrew Buffalo.
Oh shit, son. That's a good call.
Jeez,
Here's
who's
that,
texting
Andrew.
there? Oh shit, it's fair.
Damn.
Oh man, this is brand new, kind of.
Fair game.
We got-
the
finish the whole
logo.
Photo
Oh,
The logo.
not the
End of the
Buffalo one.
podcast, he's just throwing out.
You wanted me to do that the whole time.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, dude, that's fair. Tell him I love him, and he's fair.
He's
Yeah, no,
watching.
fair game. We've got people wanting us to put them in their top 8 now, so it's like that's fucking cool. Like,
Keep it
let's-
going.
let's
Top
see.
8.
This is a good point. Looking at bands' top 8s was was the way to find new shit for
Oh,
sure.
for
Totally,
I miss
yeah.
that.
All
Those were
Shall
good days.
Perish. So I found them in like.
You gotta chill out.
He's giving it a speed dance.
We're just doing a podcast, dude.
But yeah, no, that was huge. Was discovering bands through that like top 8, where it's like, oh, these are bands like these guys, and like, yeah, absolutely.
I've actually found like this wasn't something I've been doing for a while, or up until recently was, I know like a lot of people try to keep like their social media followings as of like I'm only gonna follow like a certain amount of people and like I need to make this look cool like for my image. I started just following like a lot of like music news like style things, which is kind of giving me that same information that like a top 8 gave me back in the day. Like I followed this Instagram that like shows like new bands like and it shows like a 30-second clip of like and I'm like, oh, that's sick, I like that. Pull up my iTunes, save a song, and that's been kind of like I think that like just finding that new way of finding like new good bands is that's been super solid for me.
Core radio.
Yeah, I'm curious. How do you guys like kind of? What do you guys look for when you're kind of like trying to seek out new music? Do you guys, what's your go-to?
I've been like on a lot different of a track of music than I have in the rest of my life, but that's changed a lot for me too. Because I always used to be like I used to buy hard copy CDs and everything like religiously. Like I wouldn't download stuff.
Yeah.
And then it kind of came to the point where that just got difficult and also just cluttered, and so I had so many CDs and I was like, okay. So I like used to just collect it on iTunes and have like it all with me everywhere. And then now I do use like Spotify and YouTube a lot, and that's kind of helped me discover some bands through Spotify and YouTube and stuff. But honestly, a lot of word of mouth from friends and also tours, just like who's on a tour package and stuff. And
That's cool.
I've been in a lot like more hip hop and different things than just metal. Like,
For sure.
Still a lot of metal and stuff too, but like
That's important.
it's been hard to kind of without having the same modes of finding things.
Yeah, for sure.
Different, yeah.
I think I've gotten into like even when I first was playing in music, I was like, nah, I'll never listen to hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. I love Drake as the fucking
Yeah.
man.
Then you
now.
grow up and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
This dude's actually kind
I'm
of
still on
killer.
that path. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm still there.
I just want to be Drake's best friend. Like, shout out to Drake. You seem like a nice guy.
That's Drake.
You're watching this
Yeah,
Drake.
for sure.
Hit us
Like,
up,
oh,
bro.
shit. Shout out, Drake.
Slack-it coach just gave me the shout out. Big bucks
Yeah,
coming my
you're
way.
fucking welcome.
Yeah, if
Drake.
you haven't heard of him, go check out.
He's crazy good.
He's alright.
What do you think is the next step within music then? For like going back to the local scene or going back to just music in general with the genre? What would
The
you like to
next
see
step
change?
that's going to
Oh,
happen
man.
and that we should make happen.
Should make happen because like I think what's happening is we had that like I don't even know, it was like a new metal revival.
Yeah.
For like a minute.
It's always gonna happen.
It was cool.
It's gonna be grunge next. It'll
It
be,
instantly just like went down like a year later.
yeah, it's like
So I'm just curious to see like what the next step is because I don't know what it is yet. I think you get like rockier bands.
Yeah.
So it was like it's free game right now.
I feel like the rock thing is just kind of like prevailing, where even like the heavier bands are just going to be like a rock
Hard
band.
rock bands.
Hard
instead
rock
of-
with like a strummy breakdown
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of just the general direction. There's probably a more finite direction emerging, not finite, a more like pointed direction emerging. I just haven't noticed really. I definitely noticed the new metal thing, like that just all of a sudden every band sounded like POD.
I think almost a big thing that we can look for, which is almost like every other trend in life, is like looking towards like the past of like what happened before, like
Oh, yeah.
rock came back
Metalcore
and like
was cool as
new
shit.
metal was like 90s, like metalcore could fucking really make a comeback, like
could, yeah.
5 years from now, it's
I'd
like
be
holy
stoked.
shit,
Like,
it's
all-
like
Attack,
as we
attack,
done.
attack.
Cool again.
yeah, like you just stayed on the path and like we're still playing crabcore, no one cared for 10 years, but
We're still here.
yeah, like I like shit like that. I like that everything kind of comes around full cycle, and I think if you stick to what like you truly believe in, and you don't like follow necessarily
evolve, but
evolve,
don't change your.
but yeah,
I would say evolve as you believe in it. Like,
For sure.
Like
Don't
because
just try to do it.
don't try to do what everybody else is doing.
I don't believe in fake it till you make it. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it.
People
You
people see genuine, like, I mean, that's
you're gonna get exposed.
Yeah.
Great
And now,
example.
yeah.
Sorry, volumes, dude. did a great job on that. Because they were like super fucking genty.
Yeah.
Now their new shit's genty but fucking pop as fuck.
Yeah.
So good.
Super pop.
Because you know they're into it.
Yeah, but you don't get the vibe that they're like, well, we're just trying to
Right,
sell
it's not
more
bullshit.
records. It's like that's legitimately what they listen to and they're into, and so they're like, oh yeah, yeah. I think that is really, people recognize, like, if you're genuinely writing music that you mean something to you, or if you're just writing something that's like,
I hope this sells.
yeah,
On what, but where, with what money? I think
yeah,
he's gonna
hope
win.
this sells. Music doesn't sell, dude.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Like, if you could even relate that to something like, I was listening to like some podcast today that was like, if you were like maybe 5 years ago, you were like the Pokemon guy, like you loved Pokemon, and your whole thing on the side was like doing a Pokemon blog, or like you did like a video blog about Pokemon, and you were just all fucking about it. And then Pokemon Go came out, and like it fucking exploded. And then everyone's looking to like what you're doing because you were the Pokemon guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you kind of stay true to what it is you believe in, and don't just follow where you think like the money's gonna be, or where you think the trend's gonna be. I think if you stick to what you truly believe in, then it'll come to you.
Unless
I
it's
don't
you.
think if you can't look at
It still might come to you.
yeah, that I think is the next
else might
big
be
trend in
coming
music.
too.
Honestly, is like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, but the like, you don't see a lot of really big bands or successful musicians or anything
Yeah.
who just copied somebody else or
Yeah.
did something like, oh, I want to sound like that. I mean,
Because there's already that.
Yeah.
So how the fuck
Maybe
do
a
you-
couple of songs coming out as like one hit wonders where it comes out and like hits a viral thread for like 6 weeks or
Right.
something, and then people are like, remember that like Mr. Meeseeks Rick and Morty song? Like,
Yeah.
I remember that kind of, and
I
that's
love
it.
that story too, where like if you ever catch on to a band early, like, yeah, like they're pretty good, and like I dig their stuff, but it's not like really my style. But you've just seen them over the years like pounding their fucking sound, and then eventually like the market catches on, and they're like, you know what, these guys they've really worked their ass off, and I dig them. And then it's like, then you see them actually progressing because they stuck to what they knew, and
Wage war.
eventually just
Yeah.
they'd eventually just
That's
kind
a
of
good example,
prevailed.
yeah.
And
They're like the biggest fuck right now.
I think it's hard for people to see the long game these days, which is that is the hardest thing to do.
but it's super
Anything.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite, it's funny because like I got into songwriting literally because of this. So I was writing songs for people, and like I literally had to change my style like 5 different times over the course of like 2 years
Mhm.
because of like what it's going on. I wrote new metal songs. I wrote fucking like Linkin Park songs. I did like the whole like
Whole
doing that.
spectrum.
Yeah, doing like pop songs. So just doing all those for kids trying to jump onto something, but you could tell they weren't really super into it. They're just like, can you just do this because it's cool right now?
Yeah.
I mean, I would do it,
Yeah.
but yeah, you get to see that. Bum me out.
Yeah, I've been Sam and I have been writing some more like hip hop stuff for just kind of just for fun, and it's fun, right? It's different writing these kinds of music, and we're writing it just because for fun for ourselves, and so it's not like I'm writing it for somebody else. Like, hey, hopefully this sells.
Yeah.
Well, and
Swamps
you know, at some point it would be cool if it did, but that's not
Let's
what
do
we're.
it.
That's not what the goal of it is we're sitting down writing some songs, and it's lyrics that are heavy on his heart, and you know, it's things that are legitimate topics and things that he's passionate about, and it's like,
That proves, it proves
Yeah.
through the music.
yeah, or at least, you know, at very least the idea behind it,
Mhm.
the thought behind it.
Yeah.
Just giving a shit. Are you even recording yet? Yeah, remember you guys said remember Blow's old pad? I remember you were showing me some Logic stuff.
Oh yeah,
Back
I've
in
been
the
doing.
day.
Yeah, I've been doing.
The pre-pros and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, all this stuff that we've been doing, I've been doing. Vast majority of the production on the writing stuff, and then, and you know, I'm not recording other bands. Kind of my mindset on it right now is, fine tuning my skills on that type of stuff, and I'm really more interested in having those skills so that I can express what I want to write more thoroughly without having to have somebody else go through it.
It's
and
like a
do it for
language,
me.
man.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah,
and then you get
Exactly,
better,
and
yeah.
so where I'm at is like I don't anytime soon planning on being like kind of where you're at, where you're recording other bands and doing all that stuff. Where kind of the reason that I'm trying to get good at using this is so that I can, you know,
Your own benefit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah,
how I
so I can
started,
use
yeah.
it to write what I want to write fluently.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, I can do this, and get on my head. I'm gonna sit down with my laptop, which is fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
It-
sit
you
down,
could,
middle of the night, track my guitars or whatever.
And it sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it
other
sounds
night I
good.
woke
Yeah.
up in the middle of the night and I was laying in bed and it was like 2:00 in the morning. I was like, huh.
That sounds sick.
I was like just laying in my
Dude,
head and I was
I
like,
feel that.
okay, and just like got up and like like sat down,
Dude,
tracked something down real
I'll
quick.
hum shit into my phone.
Oh, I
in
did
my
that
car.
the other night
I
too.
get a voice memo. I'm like, oh, that's a cool melody, and I'm like, hum into my phone
I
for
love
later.
that,
I
too.
bet I got like 20 of them. on my phone
I have
right
a
now.
couple of mine too.
And by the way, that'd be like the weirdest shit if anyone stole my phone. Like, what the fuck?
What is this guy even saying?
Yeah, that's like with writing lyrics, I
Lyrics,
just have
yeah.
so many
It's
notes of
fucked
just
up.
random things, and
People
I
are
just
like-
so you'd read this and be like, okay, this dude is a
They probably
schizophrenic.
like. I need to find this guy and like see if he's all right. Like I'm gonna return his phone. Like I hope he's
Bro,
good.
gives you $20 to just take care of
Yeah.
yourself.
You know what,
You
like,
go
it's
in,
way
here's
more
a
than me.
burrito.
Yeah, I was thinking
Calm
about
down.
that not too long ago because my phone got stolen. I was like, fuck, like I got a lot of weird notes in there. I might have said some weird shit. Like I might go to jail. I don't know. But, yeah, fuck, man. I think that's like one of the extreme upsides of like. You can talk all the shit you want about like, oh, the world's changing, but but like, when the fuck else could I talk to my phone and then remember a melody that I wrote and like record it 5 minutes later at my house?
For
And
sure.
There's so
much good music.
golden, yeah. There's
One of my favorite things, this happened like 2 days ago. I was recording my vocalist, and we're like trying to figure out patterns for the song. And I literally FaceTimed my guitarist, and I'm like, hey, dude, what about this over this? We had it pre-pro'd out on it so you could hear it. I'm showing him the screen.
yeah.
And he like hums it back, and it's like, dude, it seems like he's with us. And
Yeah.
we fucking finish it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
you
like, I
could
could
do-
literally FaceTime my dude right now.
You could sit.
Like,
you could
in
have
India,
5
you
different
could,
people
like-
in completely separate
Yeah.
places in the world and sit down and be in a conference in a room together and work
That's
on
essentially
something.
why we're all still friends, too. So.
Yeah.
That is, not you gotta like not rag on social media too hard because it does help you like keep in touch with people all around the world who otherwise
Or
would
it's like-
completely lost touch with.
It's like this is like we're sitting as a group. We're
Yeah.
bros. We're hanging out, and then people can sit with us,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, "Oh,"
And see us just hanging out
Hopefully
as
they've got
bros
some
and do-
PBRs and they can
I'm,
sit
that'd
and
be
have a
great.
beer with
I'm
us.
sure Andrew does.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
Andrew I fucking love him.
You can tell them.
I love you.
He's not watching anymore.
Fuck her.
Yeah. So there is just pros and cons.
I think
I get
it
frustrated.
comes down to it is we've come into like our generation of it changing the fastest, and we're learning to keep up with it as
Mhm.
quick as possible as we can, and I think that really keeps us on our toes as far as creativity goes, and like you're forced into learning every aspect because if you don't, you're left in the dust. So it's like, how do I attack this Instagram? How do I attack this Twitter? How do I attack Facebook so that I'm heard as a person and as an artist? And I think it's a beautiful thing, and it's also like it could be like a downside thing as well, you know? Like it could be like you don't want to put as much effort into it,
Yeah.
but if you can, then you're gonna break
Yeah.
through the noise. So it's like
We're all probably getting to the age where it's we're used to how it has been, and we're just
Right.
back in my day, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like not even long ago.
We
Yeah.
only had one social media
But that's how fast the
platform,
world
and it
changes
was
now. It's like
MySpace.
back in my day, and then you're like, but yeah, I mean, you can think that way, but
But
that's just gonna
have
bury
fun
you.
back
Yeah,
then,
that's
yeah,
just
like,
gonna bury you. Like
have
the
fun in
only
the
way
past.
to.
Might have been the good old days, but these are the current
the
days.
current
So
days can be just as good, just as fruitful if you stay with them, you know.
Dude, if anything, more fruitful.
Yeah.
Because you learn more. Like going back to the recording thing. Fucking 10 years ago, not so much. Everyone can have a studio in the room for $100.
Yep.
I wrote a fucking blog on it.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
$100 gets you going. You're chilling.
There's a book on that. And it's like
as long as you have some
perfect studio for. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like you can literally.
You couldn't do that. Like
You can make
3
good
years
sounding
ago.
music in your basement for no money. I mean, it's,
I mean, not even 10 years ago.
Yeah, like
You
it
do it on
comes.
your phone now too.
Yeah, dude.
It's crazy.
What?
I
it was,
have
what
GarageBand
was
app
the
on my
fucking
phone.
Chance the Rapper or something. I'm gonna like misquote this. One of the dudes, for some song, it was like a big fucking hit, came out with his phone, and he wrote a beat on GarageBand. It's like a top seller, dude.
Yeah.
He's not. I think it was Chance the Rapper. Pretty
That's
sure.
crazy.
He had a writer. You can Google it. We can fact check
This
this.
is crazy, yeah.
But yeah, so it comes down to that point where you could literally do it on your phone, and you could sell
Seconds.
a fuckload of stuff. You don't need a big studio.
I mean,
You don't
generally
need-
things move and evolve in the way that's going to be more productive for them. And so, like, even if it feels like it's more difficult, there's probably a good reason why it's moving in that direction. And
Have you guys seen those like robot chefs though?
What?
Yeah, there's like chefs that like. Well, it's robot chefs that can like watch chefs or they get downloaded information and they can make whatever the fuck.
It's
they
like,
like.
oh, I
Back-
have
I
heard of
swear.
that where you
Back
plug
in
in
my
like
day.
Emerald, you're like, make some Emerald bacon, and he's like, with Betty Crocker, whatever. And just-
2018, they're supposed to be commercially available.
can
It's
you
like
imagine
just
though if
arms,
that was
dude.
like, oh, we got robot musicians, they
That's
watch
what
the
I'm
classics
saying,
and they like all of a sudden can write
Figure
music.
out-
like the
That's when we
classics.
revolt. I mean, that's when the war is out. Like
we don't like this shit.
I feel like chefs even. I'm like, what a culinary tradition. You can't
Yeah.
get
I
that
love
out of a
to
robot.
Same. I
Yeah,
know.
well,
so it
we-
fucks me up. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Like,
Yeah,
where
well-
does it end? It's not gonna end. We're gonna be like, we're the aliens to the robots.
You'll be the last holdouts,
And we're
like
not
in
gonna
your
do woke
basements.
level.
Holy shit, let's shut down Blackgate and just open up an anti-robot page.
We're getting too fucking deep.
Hit the next.
What do you guys think? I can't. For some reason, I can't pull up the comments. But if there's any like Q&A that's going on, I see. Yeah, I don't have all the comments for some reason. But if there's anyone asking questions, let's maybe take it to those now. I think are you up on your hour on the Instagram
No,
live?
no, we're chilling, man. I think we haven't hit our hour. You can check the.
No, yeah, no, it's like 57 minutes.
Yes, that is Carl.
59.
Hi.
Yep,
Is that
it
Carl?
sure is.
We have community this.
Yeah.
Brad
I mean, we
said
can keep
put,
going.
put shoes on Sam.
Hit the 2 hours, man.
That's
I
a
don't
deal.
know.
Pale leg.
Somebody commented on a pale
Oh,
leg.
looking at my pale leg. Thanks, man.
That's why he's in San Diego.
Yeah, I'm coming to get his tan on, dude.
Get your tan on. It's all just bullshit, isn't it?
Do appreciate your input, Megan.
Yeah. I'll work on that.
I'm working on it.
Crow.
Yeah.
If you were in a band or you're trying to start a band now, how would you start? What would you do?
That's a good
now,
question.
2017. What's happening? What do you need to do to be in a
My
band?
man, from the
That's,
hallway.
that's a good question.
From an
Yeah.
outside source, someone just randomly asked
Yeah,
that.
we had to call in, phone a friend.
Let me just rephrase that.
Yeah, Bill over on the line from.
So yeah, if you guys were to start a band right now, Victory Heights got scrapped, where would you guys start? How would you guys go about it? What would be the process?
It depends where I was at, because if it wasn't the case where like Victory Heights got scrapped, I know lots of musicians and like people in established bands, or at least who have been in bands, gotten experience. So I could put together people like that. Kind of what we did when we had to replace members.
Right.
We just kind of found people from around the scene that we've had good experiences with, and people who already had kind of a good track record and we knew well, and that made it pretty easy. I don't know if it was to be like starting off without the connections that I have from being in Victory Heights. I mean, that would have to be through social media. I mean, I see people posting on social media like, who's looking for a guitar player, this and that, and like that strikes me as it doesn't work that well because it's random people. But
Right.
a lot of times you just get lucky. Like you guys got lucky with the fact that you guys all were like a tight knit group of people, and so you
Right.
guys had from there it's. But yeah, I mean, I think that networking through music scene is probably the best way to do it, and that like being at shows regularly, interacting with other bands and stuff. So if you do need to start another band, you've got the connections.
Yeah, we talked to somebody, a good friend of ours on this podcast that brought up like one of the best points that's kind of like blown my mind since he said that, which was he worked at a local venue in San Diego, which was like the best thing he could have ever done,
Oh, sure.
just because of the people that he met And growing up, I never thought about that aspect of things. Like, if I worked at a venue, I'm gonna meet all of the people that are involved in the different like management positions and the booking agent positions, and down to the band members themselves. And now he is able to, just because of the people he's met, like tour full time and fill in bands, or even start his own band like throughout people. So I think it kind of comes down to like, if you were to start from scratch, I think it would be kind of like finding a group, and like, or maybe like volunteering your time at a venue or something like that, which is like,
it definitely gives you the opportunity to be more picky, so you're intentionally picking people as opposed to just letting people fall into place.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I feel like, where we've ran into problems is where stuff's kind of just falling into place, don't know the person very well or anything like that, and then you get kind of a weird situation there. But I think that if you have the opportunity to build a relationship with somebody before you join a band with them, that's key.
Split them up.
I'm gonna throw like a weird point of view on this one. So what I think now, because like part of my business, is what you could do. Let's say it takes too long to form a band, which is very true, and you have a very direct like vision for what you want. Literally hire someone to write music.
You can, yeah.
I'm not the only person that does it. I mean, there's a ton of people that do it. So you could, like, I had a Texas dude fly out, and a Seattle dude fly out, just because they had an idea, and they're like, let's just fucking sit for a couple days, write it out, and I can do vocals over it.
Yeah.
Or if you're a guitarist, dude, me and Casey do this all the time. It's like, or you're a guitarist and you want to become a vocalist too, you can write the songs with one of us. We'll be your band.
Yeah.
And then you can sit in and you can release it, and you can find members through that.
Yeah.
It is crazy what you can do.
That does
it's
work.
easier to find members when you have material out.
For
And
sure.
it sounds good, and it's well done.
Yeah.
Because that's going to make you look really serious, and you're like, hey, this is what we do, this is what I want to sound like, who is going to fit the bill. So that's also another way of starting a band. Because you can just have it, people will come later.
Yeah, that's...
completely follow that.
For sure.
I have never done anything like that, but I've seen it work really well, to where it's like, you can, if you've got the material, people will come.
We did rebuild an entire band.
Yeah,
Last
not,
year.
Yeah, that's not easy to do either. Like, that's actually really hard. Because then you're still staying true to yourselves.
Yeah, same shit, and also just keeping, like, morale up.
yeah, because at some point you guys could have just said, well, fuck the name Victory Heights, and let's just kind of start.
We thought about it,
I'm sure that did run through. Yeah, it's because it's like, you hit so many speed bumps, and you're kind of just like, well, we could just kind of start over. Yeah.
We were at kind of a crossroads with that for a while. It was like I don't know. But
Yeah, stay true to it. Yeah, that's good though. It's super awesome to have been able to stick with you guys through the years, even after like Tyler and I have moved on to other things, and like
Makes me happy to see you guys.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
for
I get
sure.
so excited. I'm like, my boy, Sandbags is here. Yeah,
you guys gotta come visit us now.
That's true,
I
man.
know, we've been lagging.
I'm making it a point to go to Georgia because I have family there. So then I'm hoping that'll kick off my
Next
ventures.
420 Easter.
My 420 Easter.
Next
Dude, that was
420.
wild. I remember waking up from the Black Velvet night time, and I remember waking up, I was like, oh, we're already here, dude, like 5 in the morning, pouring beer in your mouth.
Oh yeah, waking him up. Wake up and rage, baby bird. We got Easter eggs to find.
Alright, this brings us to a good closing. Let's all end with our favorite, most ridiculous.
There's
tour
too
story.
many. I got
Favorite one.
I got so
Favorite,
many.
most ridiculous
Start down the
tour
line so
story.
you can think about it.
Jeez.
Whatever you guys. Have you toured? You've toured the Victory Heights?
Yeah, just
Then you've got.
So he's
you've
got
some-
one.
you got any
Favorite.
like literally.
Oh my god.
So
Or just something
We-
insane.
we on that tour I was talking about earlier in 2015 in the U.S. with that English band. We played in Sioux City, Iowa, and it was like the very beginning of this tour, their first time in the U.S. And we rolled through it, and the show was awesome, super fantastic show, kind of in like more of a DIY venue, kind of like an Elks Lodge or whatever. And we were hanging out, and the band we were playing with was like, hey, we have a place to go hang out and and party at. And we're like, sweet, let's go. And we cruise out, and we're used to seeing all sorts of stuff, you know. We've traveled, we've done this stuff, and had some fun. But these guys coming from UK are like not used to the size of America.
Yeah.
The size of America, and like what's going on. And so we roll out in like 45 minutes out into like farmland, Iowa, and these English guys are like shaking in their bones, like, we're gonna get serial killed, we're gonna get murdered out here. And we just like, we're hanging out, partying in this house, and they're like, you guys want to see something spooky? And we went out and we walked. They like took us through this huge like barn on their property, and it was so spooky. And the best part was that these English guys had never seen anything like this. They'd never seen this huge barn. They'd never seen any of this like
So it's
huge
like
barns,
new-
huge
new-
open farms like this. So they walk in and it's like pitch black. We're walking through this like creepy old barn that's got like scythes hanging up on the wall and like huge tools. And we walk in and the first thing we see is like a giant tricycle just like sitting on the floor. And we're like, oh my god. And we're walking through and it was just like everyone was kind of making jokes and like scaring each other. We're walking and we like look over it and there's this like broken down door and we're like looking through and the whole wall in front of us, so the whole barn just opens up.
Holy
And just
shit.
like sliding barn door, and
fucking
the
shit.
dude who owned the house was like, "What are you guys doing in here?" And the band we were with, Scream Blue Murder, their dad,
screamed
Glenn, they all screamed. Their dad literally ran to the two brothers in the band, literally like turned around and just hightailed it, like, "Fuck you guys!"
Yeah.
Like, I'm out of here. Just like
Straight horror movie.
ran, there's some horror
They don't
movies.
have guns there though.
In England.
This
Yeah.
was in
like,
the U.S.
no.
though.
This is in the U.S. Yeah,
That
this
was
is
like,
in
so for
Iowa.
us, it wasn't like, it was just a regular like farm in Iowa.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It was
anything
a
for
barn
us.
in Iowa.
But these guys
I
are like,
love that.
I mean, England is, you don't have like 45 minutes away from something. It's like,
Exactly.
they were just like, where, there's no phone service? Like, where are we?
I do like
And they
that.
were just like so scared, and it was kind of like a creepy property, definitely, but like they just had never seen anything like
They
it.
just
And by the
built
end,
it.
they slept in our van and their van, and they were like, "We're not sleeping inside. We don't want to go in." And we're like,
That's funny, man.
"Yeah."
It was like the third day in America.
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep mine super simple just because it brought me back to a good time of our first tour. We had just played like the first couple shows. It was like Arizona, and then I think Reno was after that. On our way back, like obviously Reno is a party town. We're all just got fucking dumb. We got really dumb. But on the way back to wherever the next place, I think it was a long drive actually to Portland, so we had like a 12-hour drive ahead of us. But we stopped at just like a turnoff, and here in San Diego we don't get snow. We have snow close to us, but
Oh yeah.
we had just like, there was just a cool little turnoff. We all had to take a piss, and we just had a fucking snowball fight. And it was just like really genuine, yeah.
Out in the snow.
Yeah, it was just genuine and pure and
We're all
like good
happy.
time with our boys and just throwing snowballs
We
and
just ate Taco Bell and like.
being giddy.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that was really fun. We just had, that was just like the most like pure moment with my friends. I just want to give everyone a big old kiss. And it was
We
fun,
cruise up
like-
and like, oh, it's fucking snow on the ground,
Yeah,
dude. We all
it was
get out.
nothing crazy, but it was just like I think about that time a lot because it was like fall. The trees were all like, it was like just really bright yellow like trees and oranges, and it was fucking snowing. It was dope, and that was my favorite time. Nothing crazy, but nice.
I liked, we're in it was like the first tour, so we're in Washington. We stayed at that Four Loko sponsored dude's house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and his dad made us spaghetti, and we watched like a ton of like Japanese comedy movies. You remember that, Carl?
No.
We slept on his floor for like 3 days.
That was
Oh, yeah.
Spokane.
Oh,
Spokane.
no,
It was around Spokane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Spokane.
Yeah, I like that.
After the
those
hop.
guys are cool, yeah.
Dude, and we're just like posted up for literally like 3 days on this dude's floor. Don't know how they weren't sick of us. There was like fucking 18 dudes
Oh,
there.
was that
We
the
had-
night that
we
they
had
threw
many
the
more
paint,
experiences
the paint
there.
on
No,
me,
that was a different-
and I was just pissed off about my shirt getting all painty. There's like some
You're all
girls
bad.
in the basement that had like
Yeah.
a paint fight, and I walked out and they like sprayed me in paint, and I was like,
what the fuck?
They gave us free Burger King or some shit.
Yeah.
So it was kind of tight. I remember Taylor, God, all right. I lost his Rochambeau with Taylor, and we like for a pizza slice or 2 slices of pizza.
That's it.
And we threw it in the van for like 2 days, and like since he won, he was gonna eat it, and then he got sick as fuck. And he was like yakking. You guys remember that? He was like in the van.
I do, yeah, I remember
he
that.
was, I don't know, man. And he was just throwing up for like 2 days.
You guys had like a ocean of beer cans in your van.
Every time. Yeah, that was a.
That was a good time. Yeah, we were just there for 3 days, like posted up. For some reason, we
We were
had
just
way too
drinking
many
locals.
off days.
Yeah, that shoot. I saw the photo. It's like that big blown up Corona bottle. And I was drinking a 40, and then I also had that in my hand. I got a photo. I'll show you guys after this. So fucking funny, dude. I'm just sitting there like.
I love it.
Blown up Corona bottle.
It's funny.
Good deal.
I don't really have any
George.
crazy.
Gotta get a song. For
Mine
this.
was pure, so you don't have to be
One
crazy.
that I remember like the most is when we played what was it, the Red Zone? When Big Donnie
Election.
won.
Oh yeah, that
We're all
was the red
Pissed. We
zone.
were sitting in Madison, Wisconsin, as Donald Trump was winning the election, and we were all like,
After we played, we just watched the whole thing.
"What?"
Wow, that's what we're going home to.
Oh fuck.
Because Wisconsin's not in America.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not our home though. You know. I don't know.
Come on, Chris.
Jeez, yeah, I have millions of.
Just the one that comes to mind.
I
for
know,
me,
yeah.
I wasn't even there.
Most
Was like
of
you
them-
broke your fucking leg.
Yeah. Just before that, what was the one where you guys were climbing some shit?
Yeah.
And you got arrested.
There was like
That's him getting arrested is a different story.
that was different.
I like it.
I had to bail now. No, this one. I might even go with that. Yeah, I'll go with that.
That's
I
a
was
good
gonna
one. That's a
go
good
with the
one.
falling one, but yeah. So we were in New Orleans, staying with some really good
Love this one.
friends of ours who we've known for ever, and so we were staying with them, and we happened to have like a couple days off in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. And so we just like got way too crazy for like a week. You know, like 3 days, 4 days. We just got way too. I mean, just drank so much and like didn't have any food. Just kept drinking. And he ended up getting too drunk and got arrested in downtown at Mardi Gras. And I like went home and stood in the shower and I was just like, did that just happen? And I'm like, "Jeez." So he spent the night in jail. We got free baby bags trending on Twitter. And then
Hashtag
I went
free
and
baby
bailed him out the
bags.
next morning.
Free baby bags.
My side of the story was a little bit blurrier.
I love it.
Yeah, I remember hearing that, and I was like, I fucking like these
Uh,
guys already.
half of the stories that like come to mind, I probably wouldn't want to tell them.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
like,
me,
sorry,
just for the record, like me and
Sorry
Tyler
about
have
it.
incriminated us
Oh,
way
yeah.
too many times.
Like I could think of 4. I'm like, I
we're
can't
dumb
tell
as
those.
hell at this point.
Yeah.
We've
I'll
said
tell
a
you
lot.
guys after.
We've
Yeah,
said
after we
shit.
pause it.
Oh, same, yeah.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. This has been
Of
super
course,
sick.
thanks
You
for
guys
having
have all
us.
been really good friends of ours for a long time. So hopefully we can do. I mean, we've always would like to do a round 2 with everyone we
Yeah,
have on
Who
here.
wants
Like,
to see us in Vegas?
yeah, these
Yeah,
guys
if
are
you're
big.
in Vegas, come hang out.
Days, so.
This won't be posted for a couple days, but if you're watching the live stream, Vegas, if you
Heads
guys.
up, you got the pre-game Vegas.
Yeah, if not, then just go there afterwards and feel our
Have a good
ghosts.
time either way.
And to our fans who are watching this, go download Blackgate's podcast and check that out. They post a lot of cool stuff about just like, or with basically just different industry people and things, kind of just basically doing this, talking about different things in the world of music. So go download that and.
Yeah, we have a ton of old ones on the site too. So go to our website. We got podcasts, blogs,
Yeah.
and have fun. It's really you can spend like an hour on it.
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. Love you guys. Thank you,
I'll let
Tyler.
you more.
Let's go get more beer.
Yep.